thoroughly conscious ignorance, is the prelude to every real advance in science. I have the capacity of being more wicked than any example that man could set me. Faraday is, and must always remain, the father of that enlarged science of electromagnetism. I have looked into most philosophical systems, and I have seen that none will work without God. All the mathematical sciences are founded on relations between physical laws and laws of numbers. The true logic for this world is the calculus of probabilities, which takes account of the magnitude of the probability. Mathematicians may flatter themselves that they possess new ideas which mere human language is as yet unable to express. The only laws of matter are those that our minds must fabricate, and the only laws of mind are fabricated for it by matter. I have also a paper afloat with an electromagnetic theory of light, which, till I am convinced to the contrary, I hold to be great guns. It is a universal condition of the enjoyable that the mind must believe in the existence of a law, and yet have a mystery to move about in. In every branch of knowledge, the progress is proportional to the amount of facts on which to build, and therefore to the facility of obtaining data. The chief philosophical value of physics is that it gives the mind something distinct to lay hold of, which, if you don't, nature at once tells you you are wrong. It is of great advantage to the student of any subject to read the original memoirs on that subject, for science is always most completely assimilated when it is in the nascent state. The second law of thermodynamics has the same degree of truth as the statement that if you throw a tumblerful of water into the sea, you cannot get the same tumblerful of water out again. In science, it is when we take some interest in the great discoverers and their lives that it becomes endurable, and only when we begin to trace the development of ideas that it becomes fascinating. The student who uses home-made apparatus, which is always going wrong, often learns more than one who has the use of carefully adjusted instruments, to which he is apt to trust and which he dares not take to pieces. Science is incompetent to reason upon the creation of matter itself out of nothing. We have reached the utmost limit of our thinking faculties when we have admitted that, because matter cannot be eternal and self-existent, it must have been created. In speaking of the energy of the field, however, I wish to be understood literally. All energy is the same as mechanical energy, whether it exists in the form of motion or in that of elasticity or in any other form. The energy in electromagnetic phenomena is mechanical energy. What then is light according to the electromagnetic theory? It consists of alternate and opposite rapidly recurring transverse magnetic disturbances, accompanied with electric displacements, the direction of the electric displacement being at the right angles to the magnetic disturbance, and both at right angles to the direction of the ray. It was a great step in science when men became convinced that, in order to understand the nature of things, they must begin by asking, not whether a thing is good or bad, noxious or beneficial, but of what kind it is, and how much is there of it. Quality and quantity were then first recognized as the primary features to be observed in scientific inquiry. I think men of science as well as other men need to learn from Christ, and I think Christians whose minds are scientific are bound to study science, that their view of the glory of God may be as extensive as their being is capable. But I think that the results which each man arrives at in his attempts to harmonize his science with his Christianity ought not to be regarded as having any significance except to the man himself, and to him only for a time, and should not receive the stamp of a society.